Khan Shalom Akim. As always, to begin off with, Khan Halalim La Yahab Hashem Yashab Hashem Akakadash, and double honors unto the great Muslim apostles. What Khan Halalim La means is all praises to the Most High Yahweh, and obviously Bahashim means in the name, and also in the name of Yahweh Shah, that's what it's really saying. So when I say Khan Halalim La, it means all praises to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, because through Yahweh Shai, that's how we get access to Yahweh. So that's why we always say that in every single video to introduce ourselves. Every single introduction, we always say Khan Halalim La. It's all by Yahweh's word that we're right here. And obviously I'm explaining this as well because of the fact that it's us pretty much being grateful for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai's names that we've gained those names, and also they're the ones who have woken us up to this truth, obviously through the prophets, but ultimately through them, because they're the ones who bring the spirits and the prophets in order to preach unto us, in order to also learn from them. So anyways, God goes on to the great Muslim apostles, because those are the prophets that I'm talking about, and the elders of great Muslim, especially also the Akim as well, father to the Akim, be able to assist me in this truth as well. When it's going to the point of this video, it's pretty much just simply being grateful and just thanking Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai that you have this opportunity. Especially those of you who have started to preach out the highs and byways, those of you who have also started making videos, basically preaching to other brothers as well, and sisters. You've got to be thankful to Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, because only through them, that's how I have the spirit of confidence in order to preach to other Israelites, and basically do the will. We've also got to be thankful for several things too. The fact that we're not heathens, the fact that we don't have to worry about doing vain works, the fact that we can trust Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and all we need to do is really just please them. But that's simply just being grateful. That's the lesson. And also the fact that we're not just 2/3, we're actually willing, we're hopeful. We call ourselves the hopeful elect, but we're actually hoping that we're part of the elect. Yahweh Tazah, as I always say. And Yahweh Tazah meaning Yahweh willing, Yahweh's will. We don't end up like those Israelites who are worshipping the golden calf. I think that's in Exodus chapter 32, where I'm gonna actually check if it's still recording because can't. Sometimes it can cut off. Yeah. So as we know in Exodus chapter 32, Israelites were waiting for Moses, but they became impatient. That's the thing, you can't be impatient in this truth as well. They became impatient, and then they started to worship other idols. And then that's pretty much what caused Moses to then throw away the first set of the commandments, the first tablets of the commandments. Because he was so angry just by the sight alone of Israelites worship an idol. Anyways, let me actually get the scriptures. Exodus chapter 32. And the thing is, the Israelites were pressuring Aaron as well, because they gathered themselves. I'll read it first, then Yahweh Tazah will break it down. Oh yeah, calm. So it says here, this is the New King James Version. As I've always said before, I can't really do too much, but this is the one that I have. But yeah, calm. It says here, in Exodus chapter 32, verse 1, now when the people saw that Moses delayed his coming from the mountain, the people gathered together to Aaron and said to him, come make us gods that shall go before us. And as for this, Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him. Because Moses was taking so long in order to come back from writing down the commandments. The people grew impatient, then to the point where they wanted to create their own gods, their own false idols, their powers, false powers, their idols pretty much. That's the level of impatience that they went to. And the thing is, being in this truth as well, we can relate to these times where Israelites, right now, people are falling out of the truth, and also those who haven't even considered actually entering the truth. Those are the guys who are pretty much just, they don't want to leave their idols. And also they want to partake, they want to also They don't want to detach from this world, ultimately speaking. Whereas the point of that scripture there was because of the fact that Israelites, back in when Moses was writing writing on the tablets, in that time, they grew impatient, and then they pretty much gathered themselves onto Aaron, and then they told Aaron to basically make them gods, make them false idols, as I said before. And that's the level of impatience, but we're not supposed to have that level of impatience. We're supposed to be impatient, it's true. We're supposed to wait on Yahushua to come. We're supposed to be waiting and see if we just keep enduring doing the works. That's why we come out here and we keep preaching in the highways and byways. The Aaron says, we keep enduring. Well, yeah, and it says here, in verse 2, Aaron said, break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives and your sons and your daughters, and bring them to me. And then it says, verse 3, so all the people broke off the golden earrings which were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. And of course, as I said before, Aaron pretty much got pressured into doing this. We know that he got pressured because of the fact that he said the people gathered themselves together. So basically, imagine a group of Israelites coming to you, and then the thing is, you know, Aaron being Moses is the brother of Moses. He was pretty much the guy who was leading them. He was pretty much the top Israelite. He was leading them, leading the other Israelites. So they gathered themselves as a group, and then basically told Aaron to basically make us gods, false idols, essentially speaking. And because of that pressure right there, as it says here in Exodus 32 verse 1, now when the people saw Moses delay his coming from the mountain, the people gathered together to Aaron. So obviously they came together, they had a gang of them, not a gang obviously, but a group of them, they came together, and of course, they'll tell Aaron to make themselves gods, which shall go before them. So pretty much, they started to lose faith in Yahweh Shem Yahshua. That's literally the point of Exodus chapter 32 verse 1. And that's what we can't do. We can't be losing faith in Yahweh Yahshua. That's why we come out here, the highways, to lift up the faith of the brothers, the Israelites. And of course, those who need to hear the words, they'll hear the words. You guys know you're Israelites? Chosen people of God. Yahweh and Yahshua are the names of the Most High, the Messiah as well. You gotta come back, man. And that's Israel right there. You don't want to listen. You want to be attached to the world, to the idols. You just don't want to come back to Yahweh Shem Yahshua. He's truly going to give them that comfort. And speaking of that comfort as well, we can go into Psalms 1 and 9, where I think it's mentioned about the wicked and how they're supposed to be left basically what I'm saying is, in Psalms 1 and 9, that's talking about the fact, pretty much justice towards the righteous. Because although the righteous are doing good, the wicked return evil unto them. I think I'll go into Psalms 1 and 9 verse 2. But yeah, that's pretty much Exodus chapter 32, where they grew impatient of Moses coming. And that's similar to now, where Yahushua, those who are fallen out of the truth, they pretty much grew impatient for waiting for Yahushua, for waiting for the kingdom to be established. But we know we're supposed to do this for long suffering in mind. We've got to be strengthened in the spirit. Now let me get to Psalms 1 and 9, and try and break that down as well. So it says here in Psalms 1 and 9 verse 2, for the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful have opened against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. And as we know, we're also coming to that point where that's literally going to be happening. Imagine when Esau Edom, who then starts to shift his focus on locking up the unjust in this world right now into prison. They pretty much start forming lies against you, especially because of the fact that you're doing the works. You can pretty much start forming lies in order to either put you in prison or to make your punishment in prison even more. and then that may just be your judgment right there. But as I said, our responsibility is to be strengthened in all long suffering. And then I think that's mentioned in Colossians chapter 9. Colossians chapter 1. So it says here, Colossians chapter 1, verse 11, strengthened with all might, according to his glorious power, for all patience and long suffering with joy. Of course, we have to do this with joy as well. We can't just be doing it we can't just come with that spirit where we're forcing ourselves to come out in the highways and byways. We're forcing ourselves, to do the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. You gotta do this joyfully, man, because the thing is, if you think about it, you're waking up Jake, and then that's pretty much multiplying and building up the kingdom really. Because it starts with the 144,000 and the 1/3, and of course 2/3 are going to come through them. So you doing this work is pretty much a privilege because Yahweh Hashem Yahshua has chosen you in order to do this work. To wake up Israelites. You got to keep having faith in them as well. It's a privilege, and also having joy in doing the works. So that's it right there. I'll read it one more time. Colossians 1 verse 11. Strengthened with all might, according to his glorious power, according to Yahweh Hashem Yahshua's glorious power. So by their power, that's how you're actually able to go in the houses and byways and keep preaching, and how you're able to make videos, edifying videos as well for the flock, being Israelites. So then continuing on, it says, for all patience and long suffering with joy. So of course we've got to execute patience and also be strengthened in order to long suffer in this truth. Is to suffer for a very long time. The Arabs will just keep enduring. And obviously, as we know, Israelites being passed by, they don't want to listen to the word. Sometimes you may ask them about if they are an Israelite. Try and ask them that, they don't normally answer you. And there's only few. As you know, the 1/3 are fewer than the 2/3. Of course. Yeah, pardon. Going back in Psalms 109. Yeah, so going back to the point where I said this video is pretty much just to be grateful to Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. First of all, because of the fact that we got the wisdom to not be linked too much to this world. Because we know that in the time, these worldly attachments are going to have to be cut off very soon. And Yahweh Tazah, we're just going to be solely relying on Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. I was going to bring out a scripture here soon. Being grateful. It says in Galatians chapter 6 verse 10, therefore as we have opportunity, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of faith. And we know those in the household of faith are pretty much doing the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. Those in that household are pretty much doing the same thing linked. Obviously we know there's an order, the apostles, the elders, the brothers, and so on. And of course, in that order as well, we're supposed to all do the same will, which is to please Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. And that's simply, again, preaching unto every man in all wisdom, waking up Israelites to come, whichever one's passed by. And of course also remembering that these heathens don't matter as well. Because I know sometimes a demon might enter a heathen's vessel to start annoying. So yeah, let's see. And yeah, that you can pretty much. This is Galatians chapter 5 verse 22. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, verse 23, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is law. At verse 24 it says, and those who are Yahushai's have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. So of course we're going to come to the point fully where the desires of this world are completely going to be obliterated. As we know, as we transition into that mindset, that eternal mindset, the desires of this world won't really be here. It won't really be in our minds. It won't really be in our minds. So in that time to come, you got to be ready to forsake anything that's of this world. Including family, especially in that time where they're going to start pressuring you to either take the max or to take this mark of the beast. That pressure is coming, as I made the lesson previously. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the fruit of the Spirit right there. Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And of course, self-control is also one where Akim needs to be lifted up with. As I know with the temptations of this world, it's quite enticing. It can be strong. But of course, that's also part of the test in order to strengthen us. We've got to be tested in order to strengthen. In order to stay strong, to be strong. But yeah, Psalms 109, verse 6. Well, this is pertaining to the wicked. And this is pretty much the desires of Jacob right now, especially those within this truth. If you want that judgment, that justice to be brought upon Israel. It says here in Psalms 109 verse 8, let his days be few and let another take his office. So of course, as we know right now, Esau is in that rulership. But again, the other one who then take his office will be those of the righteous, and that's going to be Yahushua and his elect men. We're going to build up that righteous kingdom, and then after that, it's pretty much just going to be growing and growing and growing after that, eternally, forever and ever. So that's pretty much the destiny right there. And the wicked, they'll be taken from office, as it says there in Psalms 109 verse 8. Let me check if it's still good. Yeah, so it's about to cough soon. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. You got to be thankful. You know, a heathen, as we know, they're pretty much pertaining to spirit. And also, they don't have the wisdom that we have right now of this world. That is pretty much your labors are vain, and also the fact that if you take this max, you're pretty much destined to either die, especially with each dose, it weakens your immune system. But it is because, the reason why I'm saying this is because I think yesterday, that 3 heathens, this was in my school by the way, like I was doing some work, some computer work, and I was just listening to some heathens in the background. And they basically said 2 is enough, 2 of those juices, those juice doses. 2 is enough, and then you don't need